So we finished the last lesson yesterday. You guys still probably have the practice assignment that you may be working on that you have to finish. There is a quiz in this section. So at the end of lesson 5, there is a quiz for you guys to work on, but you have to do that with me face to face, whether you're in the cyber class or the face-to-face class. So we have to make an appointment if you're in the cyber class for you to come in and take the quiz. For this class, we have to pick out what day we're going to have the quiz. So when it becomes available, when you have your appointment, you come in, sit down, start the quiz. You only have one shot at it. You can't retake it, so take it carefully. So the other thing that I'm assigning after this lesson, so you can start working on that today if you have the practice done, is the summative assignment test scores. This is your first programming summative assignment. I noticed in some of your other assignments, and even in some of the quiz questions, you guys kind of, in some cases, worked your way around some of the directions. Like I said, input to ints, and yet some people went ahead and changed stuff to doubles because they weren't sure how to cast it. And I'm not sure that's because they took the stuff early, and I hadn't taught that yet. They did the quiz early, or they did the practice early, or the assignment early, and they weren't quite sure how to cast it, and they didn't quite know what it meant, so they just said, oh, well, I'll make it doubles. Well, you can't do that. You have to stick with the type that I assigned. So in here, it specifically says, input 2 test scores as ints, not doubles. They have to be ints. When you input the 2 test scores, this should be done by the scanner class, not you just saying test 1 equals test 2 equals. I'm expecting to be prompted to enter in 2 test scores. Whether you do enter test 1 and then enter test 2, that's up to you, but it should look something like this. It doesn't have to look exactly like this, but it should look something like this, where it says, please enter your test grades, test 1, test 2. If you have to do them on 2 separate lines, that's fine, but see if you can get them on the same line. That's a print statement rather than a print line statement. 3 quiz scores, also ints. So then you would say enter 3 quiz grades. Quiz 1, quiz 2, quiz 3. A homework average as a double. So they would type in their homework average as a double. Then I want the final grade to be calculated as a weighted average, which means the test average should be 50% of the final grade. The quiz average should be 30% of the final grade. And the homework average should be 20% of the final grade. So after you calculate the test average and the quiz average, you're going to have to calculate the final grade by using a 50% test score, a 30% quiz score, and a 20% homework score. It should print out the test average, the quiz average, and the final grade. Don't worry about decimal points. Some of you might get a whole bunch of extra decimal points than you had started with. We're going to talk about that in a later session. In essence, that's all junk, so we have to figure out how to handle that. So when you're ready, you guys can start on the summative assignment and work on that, and I will be around to help, or you can send me an email if you have a question. If you have not finished the practice assignment from lesson 5, finish that first. Do not go on to this until you finish the practice 5. You will get at least 1 session today, possibly another session, to work on this summative assignment, which means you need to be also working at home on this summative assignment outside of class, not just class time.